Thank you, everyone, for joining in on today's Inspiring Journeys session. We're very excited to have you all join us today, and we look forward to having a very fruitful and inspiring conversation. So, I will start by introducing myself, setting a few housekeeping rules just so that we have an effective session. And then I will proceed to introduce what leading change is as a reminder to maybe some of us who are new to leading change. And I will then introduce our wonderful speaker today, who is going to take us through a session on career and growth-oriented leadership. So, first and foremost, my name is Vanessa Dzeke. I am the Leadership and Entrepreneurship Manager at Leading Change Africa. I am based in Malawi. I will then let me just jump into introducing what Leading Change Africa is. This is just for those of us that might be new to Leading Change. We just saw inspiring journeys and we got curious. So, Leading Change Africa is a US-based organization that works across Africa with the goal of inspiring young leaders to agents of change and be able to support their growth and development. So we work mostly, we have offices in the US, in Burkina Faso, and in Mali. But our programs, as you can see, as you're able to join from wherever you're joining from, our programs span across the entire continent, where our goal is to make sure that we're able to inspire the next generation and support you in your development as you become agents of change yourselves within your communities. We offer different programs which are focused on personal development, access to academia, as well as provide entrepreneurship support. We offer programs such as the Leadership Academy, which I should feel maybe a few of us are joining in from that program. The Leadership Academy is a program that is aimed at supporting young people in developing their personal, professional, and leadership skills for them to be able to have the impact that they desire within their communities. We implement this virtually as well as in person. In person, it's in Burkina Faso and in Mali, and it is implemented both in English and in French. So if you have a friend that speaks French, please send them our way. We have the Leadership Academy that they can participate in. Or if you're a French speaker yourself, that's a program for you. We also offer the undergraduate program where we support high achieving and low income students, primarily in Burkina Faso as of right now, but we are looking to expand to access higher education. So we support them through the process of accessing higher education. We'll let you know when we expand to across the continent, but so far we offer that in Burkina Faso. And we also have other programs like the LCAP Blueprint program, where we support idea stage and early stage entrepreneurs into accessing, into gaining knowledge on how they can build a well-structured business and be able to launch their MVPs, develop their minimum viable product, and launch their minimum viable product. Basically, our goal is to support you in whatever journey you're going through, whether it is your career, education, or entrepreneurship. We have programs that speak to all that. And even in agriculture, we have the rural development program, which at the moment is being implemented in Mali and Burkina Faso. We'll let you know again when we expand. But for that program, we support young people in engaging in conservation agriculture. So this is just to give you a picture of who we are as Leading Change Africa. But I would encourage you all that if you haven't already, um, keep updated with us, follow us on our pages, and we'll also include you in our newsletter just so that you understand and keep track of the opportunities that I've just spoken about and gain more insights into our work and the opportunities you can access wherever you are. So that's just a bit about Leading Change Africa. I would just jump into a few housekeeping rules for this session. So, of course, I have spoken a lot so far. I've spoken about Leading Change Africa as well as some of the programs that we offer. If you have questions, I will be answering them in the chat. Just comment them in the chat. So even throughout this session, would like to keep it engaging, but would also like to make sure that everybody is able to keep track of what's going on and follow along. So if at any point you are interested in raising a question or need clarity about something, please raise your hand, or even just type it in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat as the speaker is sharing her presentation. And if anything, when you raise your hand, we will make sure that we pass the platform to you. But we look forward to having a very, very engaging session. I hope that by the end of this, we're all individually taking away something that strengthens our leadership journey, our career journey in any sense possible. I will then just quickly get into the main event for the day. I'll just get into the main event for today. I know our speaker is having a bit of a challenge with the internet. Justina, if you are able to just throw a thumbs up if your internet is stable and I can introduce you. Okay. Okay. It seems our speaker is having a bit of a challenge with her internet. I I can relate to that. Um, I'll just start by introducing her and then I'll just start by introducing her and then we can take it from there. Justina, I hope you're able to hear us and I hope you're able to hear us. Anyways, as I was saying, that today's session is going to focus on career and growth-oriented leadership. And we have an incredible speaker based in Ghana who is going to be able to take us through this conversation. But she herself is a young leader. She herself is an African young leader whose career has been she has been able to push for her career to be able to be aligned with her leadership journey. So it is exciting for us on our end to have this conversation with her, but think of it as more she is facilitating the discussion and not just taking up just lecturing. So please make sure that you are engaging in the conversation. Please make sure that if you have any questions, to use this as an opportunity to not only learn about leadership in Africa, but also how you yourself can structure your leadership journey and your career journey to be able to grow meaningfully and have the impact that you'd like to have within your communities. I will jump into introducing her, even though she has been kicked out of the meeting. So just give me one quick second. Let me just check in on our speaker before we proceed. I think in the meantime, I'll just also look at the question that is in the chat. No, we currently do not have any offices in Ethiopia, but we do hope that we're able to expand there one day. Okay, I think Justina is back with us. Justina, can I have a thumbs up so that I can proceed to introduce you? Perfect, perfect. So, yes, as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, that today's conversation is going to focus on career and growth-oriented leadership, and we're going to be hearing from a young leader herself who has built her career and has been able to serve her community and continue to advance her leadership journey. So, just to tell you a little bit about her, she is a programs and business and expansion lead at Staidorf Consult and she has a background in project coordination, stakeholder engagement, and the delivery of impact-driven initiatives. She holds an MSc, a Master's in Science in Project Management from NUST University, and has worked with diverse teams and stakeholders to drive effective program execution and results. Her work reflects a strong ability to lead through collaboration, structure teams effectively, and ensure alignment towards a shared goal and impact-driven results. Justina is passionate about mentoring and nurturing young minds, advancing skills and career development, and contributing to community-focused initiatives. She is committed to empowering young Africans to grow into confident, purpose-driven leaders. And that's why today she is going to be sharing some of her insights on how exactly we too can be able to have structure our careers and growth as young leaders. With that said, I will pass it over to Justina. Miss Justina, please, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Can you hear me? I think I'll
Yes,
need to start with that. If I can be seen and I can be heard
we can
before
confirm.
we move on to the order of the day. Vanessa, I'm not able to share my screen. I don't know if you can make me a co-host. I don't
Yes,
know what
just that
functions
right now.
you put in place, but
I believe you should be able to share your screen now.
okay. Moment. Let me check that. Great. Okay. Um, can everyone see my screen?
It's loading. Yes, now we can see your
Okay.
screen. Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you to Leading Change Africa for the opportunity. I'm truly humbled. I think this is my second or third time joining this community on the same course, and I would say that I'm really impressed with what Leading Change Africa has been doing so far. And to think that there's an ecosystem that I truly am interested in. So whenever I'm being called upon, I'm glad I am able to show up. Vanessa mentioned quite a number of things. Let me just add up. I mean, aside the whole work experience, school. I just want people to know me for just these few things as well. I mean, professionally, she mentioned I simply work to turn ideas to actual results whilst making sure that systems or people do not fall apart. Because with the kind of work I do, there are systems in place, there are people you are working with, there are teams that you are coordinating. So basically, my profession is just to make sure that whatever ideas we have comes into fruition, right? Aside work, I also have the opportunity to put my artistic ability to use. So you see here, Deluxe Beauty GH. It's my business. I do makeup, hairstyling, anything that has to do with beauty. So if you don't see Justina in the office or at the field, she's probably somewhere at an event making someone up. Obviously at a fee. So life outside work, I enjoy time out with friends, loved ones, and sometimes I disappear to sleep. Yes, I love to sleep a lot because I mean the world can be busy sometimes, so you need to rest. Aside that too, I want people to know me for me enjoying good food, music. So I loved it when Vanessa was playing some Malawian music in the background. You would catch me on that as well. I like anything beauty and fashion and of course money. Maybe some people over here would agree with me as well. Yes, let's move on. Let's
Sorry,
just break.
Justina, before you proceed, could you put it
Mhm.
into presentation mode?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good.
Is this better?
Yes, this is much better. Thank you. Please
Great.
proceed.
Right. Before we even zoom straight into action, I just want to see in the chat box any ideas of what we can do. Reading this question, would you rather have a nosy neighbor or a noisy neighbor? Let's just break the ice before we start this whole career and growth oriented leadership talk. Any comments on the chats. Would you rather have a nosy neighbor or a noisy neighbor? And why? Vanessa, if you can read some of the chats for us, just one will do. One
Yasmina
interesting
says neither, please.
point.
Everybody's saying none.
What if you
You have to choose one, okay, guys? Choose one.
you have to choose
One.
one?
If you had to choose.
Well, yeah, if you had to choose, would you prefer a nosy neighbor, someone all over your business, or someone who is noisy, making noise 247, playing loud music, shouting, singing?
I feel like personally, I would prefer a noisy neighbor.
Okay, all
A
right.
nosy. Yeah, a
And
nosy neighbor.
nosy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Felix and con yeah, Felix and Venita also agree. No, Venita says noisy. Noisy. So does Alice.
Mm. Okay. People would have their reasons for that. For me, I think I can do with both, but if I'm to choose one, I would go in for a nosy neighbor. Nosy neighbors can sometimes be annoying and all up in your business, but at least a nosy neighbor could come up to you and say, okay, when you went to work, I saw someone walking around your house taking pictures. Who knows? Maybe he's going to put that online to sell or something. Or when you are away, I saw someone close to your car. I think you're trying to deflate the tires or something. So sometimes nosy neighbors help, but either ways, everyone in their choice. Would you rather run a country or a business? A quick one before we zoom into action. Would you rather run a country or a business? For me, I would say I'm already running a business, so I would like to, should it be possible, run a country. Then I can weigh both. But what do
Veni-
our participants say?
Venita says a business. Eda says a business. Connex says a country. Emmanuel
Mm.
says a business. Okay, it's a split.
Well,
Um,
well,
Kondani says business. Florence says country. Constance says business. It's very split.
yeah, well, as I said, we are diverse people. Someone would love to run a country. Someone too would say, no, that's a huge task and burden too much for me. So we go with the flow. Let's just get going. We want to talk about career and growth oriented leadership. Anything that comes to mind when you hear leadership, any words, anything that comes to mind, anything that comes to mind. Anything that comes to mind. Let's make use of our chat box. I'll be asking a lot of questions. I know it will be vice versa too as well. Let's get interactive. Vanessa, I can
Mullen,
mention some out.
yes, Mullen Maina says for experience. Okay, wait, no, that she was answering the other question. Patience Gadama says leadership is about taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
Anybody else?
Well, this answer actually has prepped us to whatever we are going to say today.
Okay.
It's giving just a summary. Yes, taking responsibility. That will mean that we all have a fair idea of what leadership is. Any answer in the chat box before we move? Any other
Um,
answer in the chat box?
Edda says leadership to me means responsibility, vision, and the ability to inspire and guide others towards a common
Mm,
goal. Venita
wow.
says uneasy is the head that wears the crown.
Mm,
Florence
interesting.
says what comes to mind is having vision.
Great.
Mullen Maina says taking charge and giving direction. Felix says leadership is about making an impact. And then Tunyako Vitumbiko Mfune says guiding and inspiring.
All right. So
Yeah.
I think my work here is done. 90% done. Everyone is given same similar ideas of what leadership is. I hear direction, I hear responsibility, accountability. I hear someone saying crown over there, yeah, making impact as well. That's all true. So yes, I coined this down here. That leadership is the ability to influence, to guide. I think someone mentioned guidance and inspire people towards a shared goal. That is what leadership basically exactly means. It's the ability to influence people. So it's like an art. It's something that you develop. So it's not just a title or a name. You just don't give your a name to yourself and say, I'm a leader. But it's a skill that you have to develop. It's an art, right? So leadership is not about control. It's about influence and responsibility, of which you all got to write in the chat box as well. Leadership also starts with self leadership. So, self leadership here means that you start with yourself, you start with influencing yourself, you start with guiding yourself and inspiring yourself towards a shared goal, right? So, we want to discuss career and growth oriented leadership. It's all in the ecosystem, right? So, I coined it here that it's the intentional development of yourself and others to continuously improve, create impact, and take on greater responsibilities over time, right? So, leadership is you having that art of influencing, but it becomes growth oriented when you are being improved over time, right? You just don't stay at where you are, but with time you are progressing, you are improving. What you started with is not what you are with currently, and what you are currently wouldn't be what you would be in few years to come. That is when we can determine that your leadership is growing, right? So in every growth oriented leadership, we are looking out for these core elements: self-development, intentional growth, long-term thinking. You should be able to plan ahead. You should be able to tell yourself that in the next 5 years, I would want to learn this skill. I would want to have attained this certificate. I would have want to be promoted or change roles to this particular industry or field that I want to be, right? Another element is impact beyond self. You should get to that point where you are not only impacting yourself, right, but you are influencing other people. That is where leadership comes in. So, impact beyond self, that's where we know that um, your leadership is growing, right? I also want us to know that in this process, try and identify your areas of growth. What leadership skills do you possess, and where can you focus your efforts, right? So, I just want to assume that our participants here are students, young professionals, people looking out for some roles they are looking out for, entrepreneurs, people running businesses, whether small scale or large scale, right? So this is all to us. Try and identify your areas of growth. Where do you think that if you find yourself, you can actually try and be dedicated to learn and grow, right? What leadership skills do you think that if you are able to develop, you can influence and guide a team of people in whichever industry you find yourself in, or in whichever workplace you find yourself in? Assess what it means to be a leader at your workplace. Should you find yourself in a corporate environment? Should you find, if you are a banker, you work in a banking industry, you work in the medical field, the NGO, etc. Try and assess what it means to be a leader. It it differs from various industries. There are some industries that will demand that you go to school and attain a particular certification. Some other industries would require certain unique skills. Do you have them? Do you not? If you do, then you can make the effort. If you do not, then you have to make a decision to start learning, right? Consider the needs of your specific industries as well. Should you find yourself in a medical field and you want to expand or grow at a particular level, and then a role demands that will need you to have served a number of years, or will need you to have learned a particular specialty, right? Try and consider that, so that you are in that process of being a leader but growth oriented. You can develop some styles. I think these are some leadership styles that we are familiar with way back when we were in high school, primary. We hear of autocratic leadership, democratic leadership, transformational leadership, servant and laissez-faire leadership as well. So autocratic, as we see here, the leader makes a decision alone. The democratic leadership, it's more involving. Transformational is more focused on growth and motivating team members. Servant leadership would want to do the work with you, would want to help you, would want to serve you and not necessarily control you, right? Laissez-faire leadership would will not give the maximum supervision that it will need and will give the team autonomy. So these are some of the existing leadership styles that we've known, and we can actually identify them from our various fields of work and our businesses as well. So at this moment, you should start thinking, if you're running a business with a team of people there, which kind of leadership skill are you exhibiting? If you work in a particular corporate organization, which form of leadership style are you exhibiting, or would you want to exhibit if you have the mindset of being a leader one day, right? We also in our world now, we also hear of visionary servant leadership. As I said, we hear of coaches as well. So this kind of style, the coaching style, is when you focus on developing people, right? You try to guide them, mentor them, and help them to improve their skills over time. The visionary leader is also giving directions, is giving blueprints, it's giving or inspiring you towards a particular goal that he sets his mind to, right? A servant leader, as I said, is here to support you. You usually find servant leaders trying to help. They would usually ask you what the challenges are. Is there any way I can help you? So you try to determine that. If you have a boss, you have a supervisor, I think these styles should help you determine the kind of person he is. Is he someone that takes decisions alone? Is your supervisor or your boss someone that tries to motivate you, tries to teach or mentor you to arrive at a particular goal? Or you just have a leader that leaves you to do whatever that you want, right? I think at this point we should be able to start determining how we would want to lead as individuals um, in future, right? For those of us who are not yet leaders. So I coined down a few points for us how a young professional can develop leadership skills. Um, Assuming here that we are all young professionals, as I said earlier, some of us are looking to start our own businesses, some of us already have our own businesses, etc. How do we develop leadership skills, right? You start with self leadership. I think it was in the previous slides. Be disciplined, you are time conscious, time management, be accountable. Be accountable to every form of decision that you make. If you're an individual and or you're a student and you want to start developing these leadership skills, it starts right from what you do as a student in a day. What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to go for lectures? Are you supposed to go for class? Are you supposed to do some research? How do you manage your time? How do you hold yourself responsible or accountable to certain decisions that you make, right? So I put here that if you can't lead yourself, then you can't lead others as well. If you're not able to discipline yourself to make certain difficult decisions when it comes, right? It's not always going to be in your comfort zone. If you are able to discipline yourself, if you're able to manage your time, if you're able to hold yourself accountable without anyone um, being around, then it's a first step to you being able to lead other people. Another way to develop leadership skills is to take the initiative, right? Try to volunteer for tasks. If you're a student, if you're a young professional in whichever capacity you find yourself in, try to volunteer. I know we are in a world today that I initially also said that I like money, right? Anything that would bring money legally, that will bring multiple streams of income. Why not? I think Leading Change Africa too is preaching entrepreneurship, how you can start something on your own. If you have passion, how you can start something on your own, right? But there are times that it may not always be about the money, right? It's about you being selfless, you trying to volunteer. Because trust me, people who volunteer a lot will attest to the fact that there are certain skills, there are certain characters, there are certain opportunities that were handed over to them through these volunteering actions, right? So if you have the opportunity to join an association, a club, a young professionals group where it's about impact driven goals, please do well to take those initiatives, because it's through that you can also develop your leadership skills. Try and offer solutions. If you think that you have an idea that could solve a particular problem or manage a particular challenge, do your best to offer the solution, most especially when you find yourself in a work environment where opportunities are being given to employees to bring out their innovative ideas, to bring out solutions for particular problems. Don't keep it to yourself. If you are keeping it to yourself, it's not a way of developing leadership. A leader should be selfless. So if you tend to offer solutions to certain problems, then we know that you can be able to take a leadership role, because leaders are not just I saw someone mention crowns. It's not only about the title and the crowns. You can wear the crowns, but you may not know how heavy that crown is on your head until you take that position. How do you offer solutions? There are going to be times where your people are looking up to you. What do we do? Because you find yourself in a situation where your members cannot really, from top of mind, give solutions to certain problems. But now the task is on you as a leader to offer solutions, right? So be open to offer solutions even when you are not a leader and you think, in quotes, you are just a common floor member, right? These are ways that you can develop your leadership skills, right? Don't just always pinpoint the problems or the challenges. Usually, we look at such people as those who are always at the receiving end, right? If you are in a group of, you are in a team working towards a particular goal, a particular task, if you find yourself in a student's group, you find yourself in a working environment, right? And you're always pointing out challenges. You're always pointing out challenges. Even management will notice that, okay, this particular gentleman or lady may not be fit to assume a leadership role because they are bringing out the challenges. They can clearly see challenges and problems, but they've not tuned their mind to see if there's a possibility to give some solutions. At least let's try to see if this can work, right? You know, usually management, people in higher authority look out for such leadership skills. So it's very important that in as much as you are pointing out the challenges, if you want to develop a leadership skills, try and offer certain solutions top of head, right? You can also step up before being asked to. If you feel within your capacity you can do something and no one is willing to do that, you can step up to do it. That shows confidence, that shows boldness. You are going to find yourself in places where your people are not going to stand up for you. You are the leader. They are looking up to you. You have to stand up for them, right? So if you are exhibiting these kind of characters, then you should know that you are fit to be a leader, right? Where everyone is turning their backs, you hold the fort. That shows that you are a great leader, right? Building communication skills. Every leader should learn how to speak clearly, listen actively, and also ask questions. If you do these things, then you are developing your leadership skills, because leaders always tend to talk, right? I mean, some leaders don't always do the talking, but if you assume a leadership role, be prepared that people would want to hear from you. We always say, speak their mind, speak their mind. Yeah. So people would always want to hear from you. Speak clearly, pass on your message clearly, listen to your people actively, right? And let them know that, okay, they feel amongst and they feel belonged to. Seek feedback from your supervisors, from your peers, from your mentors. That's another way of developing leadership skills, right? As a leader, when you assume a role that demands that you oversee certain people, there should be times where you want to hear from them, you want to hear their feedbacks as well. So if you are doing this, then it means that you are developing this kind of leadership skills. Learn continuously. If you find yourself in a space where you are leading people, it is assumed sometimes that you know it all, right? So just have it in your mind that, okay, I need to know it all, if not all, at least to an extent, right? So take courses, um, attend seminars, read books, real life experiences, learn from them, speak to mentors who can share their experiences with you and all that as well. When you are able to learn continuously, people come to you to also tap from you. Then that way you're also influencing people. You can't influence people if you lack knowledge. You can't guide people or direct people if you are not knowledgeable yourself. So as a leader, you should continuously be learning. What's the new book in town? What's this? Okay, there's this seminar that aligns with what I'm doing. Let me try and then attend this conference. These are some of the things that you should do to upskill as a leader. Develop emotional intelligence. Very, 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 very important. I just had to stress on the very, 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 very important, because as a leader, you need to understand people, you need to manage certain reactions. You are there to handle certain conflicts, right? So emotional intelligence is very, very important. It is key. As a leader, what actually differentiates you from your people, your team members, is your ability to now, well, in project management now, we don't really want to say manage again, right? But it's your ability to know what to say, how to say it, and when to say it, right? Know what to say, how to say, and even when to say it. Know what to do, how to do it, and even when to take that action. That's what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence also means that being open to accommodate all kinds of personalities, right? Because the team that you'll be leading has different kinds of personalities from all walks of life. If you happen to be working in an environment where they're not only locals. When I say locals, I mean people within your jurisdiction, but maybe international people. You have teams in Ghana here, you have teams in Malawi, you have teams in Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Nigeria. People's orientations are different. Be open, right? This is what differentiates you from the team members. Understand where people are coming from, understand why they do what they do, understand why they say what they say. Then you can measure it to what the team's goal is. Does it affect the team's goal positively or negatively? What can I do to try and manage this particular character of this team member? How do I manage or handle this conflict between this particular employee and the other particular employee? How do I manage conflicts between my workers? You are a businessman, you run a salon. A salon came top of mind because of my industry. Or you have a company, or you have a farm, right? People are into agribusiness. You have a big farm with let's say a mango plantation with a large number of 100 to 200 farmers. How do you manage these humans, right? That's how we can know that indeed you are a growth oriented leader. How do you say things not to hurt people's feelings but pass on the message, right? That is how we know that you are emotionally intelligent. That is what also differentiates you. So please, let's take note of that. Very much important. So these are other points, how young professionals can improve and grow into higher leaders. If you are currently in a position where you are not really handling teams, or you are not a leader yet, these are some of the things that you can start to do. Build your competence, right? Build your competence so that when the opportunity comes, people do not have any say than to give you that acceptance that, okay, yes, this person is confident, competent, this person can do it, he meets all the requirements, I think he is good at what he does, why not let him lead a team, right? So spend the time to build your competence. If it's in whatever field that you find yourself in, as I said earlier, if it's a skill that you need to learn, you have to learn that so that you are prepared even before the opportunity meets you. Be consistent. When I say be consistent, if we know you for this, let's always see that that is what you are doing and you are growing in that. Deliver on time. You see, you can work in groups and you can work in teams, and your superiors are actually observing, right? They are looking at you, they've given you a task, they've given you a deliverable. How well can you deliver on time, right? Even if you can't deliver on time, how well can you best communicate that, okay, this is my deliverable. I accepted that the timeline is within 2 weeks, but there has been some project shortfall. So I would need you to extend my grace period or help me, or maybe rope in another team member to help me finish that task on time. You are being proactive, you are being consistent, you are being reliable, right? Expand your thinking, think beyond your role, understand the bigger picture. If you find yourself in a corporate institution and then their vision is to train young minds like us, is to train people in vocational skills, in digital skills. Think beyond your role as an administrative assistant. Think beyond your role as a trainer. Think beyond your role as a community manager. What can you do aside what I've been given on paper to do? What can I do to help this vision go on course, right? To help this vision thrive. How are you able to sit down to assess the bigger picture? There are times where even the leaders themselves, the founders of these businesses and companies, may not see the bigger picture that you are seeing, right? So if you're able to expand your thinking to see that bigger picture, you are being you are being forced to walk in that way, right? Until you are being noticed. These are some of the things that you should be doing in your various workplaces as well, and even in your businesses, right? Build relationships, network intentionally. It's an intentional effort. You just don't sit there and get connected, right? I was not just there and then I had the opportunity to speak. Connection is intentional. Build the relationships. If you are not on LinkedIn now, I am wondering why you are not on LinkedIn. I am wondering why. Last year I spoke on leveraging LinkedIn, right? Those of you who were on that session would remember. Join clubs, join associations, attend conferences that aligns with your goals, seminars, breakfast meetings. You know, when you hear these conferences and seminars, young minds like us are like, okay, it's not my time yet. I think that's too high for me. But trust me, it will interest you to know that you go to meet your peers at these same seminars, even as panel, right? Even as people speaking as panels, as guests, as guest speakers and hosts, etc. Right? So just put yourself out there. That's how you can build relationships. That is how you can connect, right? Go for job fairs, go for career fairs, whatever thing that can help you develop, right? Collaborate. There are times where when you want to grow into a higher leadership step, you need to collaborate with people, let people know you. There are times where it's not always, as I said, it's not always about the money or what's in for me. It's about the networks that you build, it's about the relationships that you build. Collaboration also brings exposure to you, right? So let's also consider these things. Should we aim at growing into higher leaders? Maybe you are currently working as an administrative assistant, you want to venture into the HR role, or you're an assistant HR, you want to now be the HR manager. These are some of the things that you should be looking out for. What is needed of me to do to be able to land that role, to be able to seen as someone who is competent enough to be a leader? Take ownership, own your mistakes, own your results as well. Just as when the results comes and you are excited that yes, I did it. Justina did it. Justina finished and accomplished this deliverable. When there's a mistake, when there's a shortfall, own that, own it, know that, okay, yes, um there was a flaw over here, I think I need to reassess and then make changes to that. Take ownership. Then we are able to know that when you become a leader, you understand what accountability means, right? You are accountable for every decision, every action, everything that happens within your team, right? Within your business, within your organization. Seek growth opportunities. I can't overemphasize that enough. It's all about growth. It's all about opportunities that will help you grow, skills, mentally, whatever that it is to help you grow, right? Growth is when you realize that what I learned yesterday has increased, basically. Then you know you are growing. What I did yesterday, I was able to do twice of that today, or I was able to do one and then half of that today. Then you know that you can measure you are growing. Simply that, right? So I think someone will be wondering, growth, growth, growth. Justina is saying growth. How do you measure the growth, right? Aside people telling you, oh, wow, you are doing so well, what you can also do to determine your growth is that what I was able to do yesterday, I've been able to do it today and even more, right? So that is it. So, how to lead in a workplace? Lead with authority. For those of us who are already leaders, lead with authority, be dependable, be proactive, influence through your actions, right? When we say influence, it doesn't mean, when we say influence through your action, doesn't mean you just hold your worker or your employee or team member by hand and directs them. I say, do this. If you don't do it within the next 30 minutes, I'm taking you off the team. No, emotional intelligence comes to play. I mean, I can agree with some of us that we really work with some kind of team members that are quite challenging, right? We need to find ways that we can maneuver just so that the team is on course. Communicate effectively. If you are a leader in your workplace, be clear, be respectful, be professional. Please, let's do our best to be professional. Should you find yourself in a professional environment or setting, speak with respect, speak with clarity and with profession, right? Do not say things that would sound offensive to a fellow team member. It's very important that in as much as we are trying to guide people and direct them, let's know our boundaries as well. Understand team dynamics. I think I explained that we are working with different kinds of people, different strengths and weaknesses. Someone can be able to finish a deliverable in 30 minutes. Someone will take the whole 24 hours to finish just what someone finished in 30 minutes. So know how to balance such teams, right? Solve problems. If you are a leader, don't just report issues to higher authorities or just sit there. Okay, this is a problem. It's been stagnant. I think there's nothing we can do about it. So I mean, there are certain challenges that may be overwhelming and can seem impossible to handle, but making the effort is a step, right? Bringing solutions is a step. Be accountable to whatever task or responsibility you've been given and follow through with that. So, for the leaders in our midst, these are some of the things that you need to do to show that you are a growth oriented leader, right? Build trust with your team, celebrate their wins. There are some leaders that, even when their team members do something exceptional, they refuse to look at that. I don't know why they do that, but you should be able to acknowledge your team members' efforts and contributions. Just like when they make mistakes, you blame them and hold them accountable for making that mistake, right? You didn't put this here, you didn't put salt in the food. So the customer called that the food came with no salt, it tasted bland, no seasoning, nothing. Or you are supposed to deliver an item and then you didn't deliver it on time. The way you are able to hold your team members responsible for mistakes that they've done, please, let's try and acknowledge their efforts. Let's try and acknowledge their contributions. Some team members bring excellent ideas, but leaders just throw them under the bus. It can be very, very demeaning and not motivating enough. So, if you are a leader, please acknowledge your team members' efforts and contributions. If it's within your reach or resources, try and motivate them as well. There are times where, oh, today, this week, the team performed exceptionally well, so lunch on the leader, right? These are some of the few things that just gives motivation to the team, right? Or, oh, yesterday was a very tough day for us. I realized we all had to work, work over time. So I'm giving you all today off. I mean, these are some of the motivating things that your team members will see and say, okay, my efforts are being acknowledged, right? So if you're a leader, please try and celebrate the wins, whether small or big, from your team members. Try and develop them as well. Just as you are developing yourself as a leader, try and invest in your team members as well. Empower them, right? There are times where you would want to take the seat back and watch them work, right? Give them the opportunities. You may never know what your worker can do. You may never know what your team member can do if you don't hand over that opportunity to them, right? Give them the opportunity to make decisions and take ownership by themselves, right? And let them know that if this, hey, I'm giving you this opportunity, do all that you can to make it work. If it works, we give you the accolades. If it doesn't work, too, I'm here to help you out, right? It's not that if it doesn't work, yes, we are going to hold you responsible for failing that project. No, if it doesn't work, you're facing some challenges. I'm in reach out to me, let me know what you're facing, and then we can help you to that, right? So this is for our leaders. If you find yourself in whatever field or industry, these are some of the things that you can actually adapt, right? You don't know, your team members may love you for these things that you are actually showing to them, right? Yes. So these are some of the points I put down for some various industries as well. You could find yourself in the NGO space, impact work space. You could find yourself in the creative entrepreneur space, or the corporate, very well structured environment, be it the public sector, the banking industry, the IT industry, whatever industry you find yourself in, right? You can lead, right? It's the same principle. It's just that the application may be different. There are some teams that you need to be on them to achieve results, and there are some teams that you can just lay back and they can do the work without you even giving maximum supervision. So leadership is the same principle, but you just have to tailor it to whichever environment you find yourself in. I understand that some team members may be very difficult, so you would want to use stern hands on them. But then again, you try and see how best you can make things work in the various industry. So I put them here in the corporate space. You have to follow the systems, be professional, deliver the results. In the creative spaces, if you find yourself in the media or branding, companies, PR companies, or the creative spaces, could be the designing space and all those IT firms and all that. It could be flexible, where a particular organization would demand that you are always in black suits for that matter. They even give the particular color of suits to wear. Black suits, for the ladies, maybe you have to be in the suit as well, maybe a skirt and a blouse or something. Another organization would say, see, we need the work done, just come as you are. Smart casual, just look presentable and come, right? So there are some spaces that may be very flexible, some spaces too that may have systems that you strictly have to follow. As a leader, you should know how to blend in these kind of dynamics. There are going to be certain spaces where culture is of essence. Culture is of essence. So you have to, as a leader, should you find yourself in such spaces, as I said, you need to be open. So you have to learn the culture of the people. We have the workplace culture, and we even have like the culture of the particular region you find yourself in, right? So you need to learn all that, be open to learning, and know how best you can lead these diverse kinds of people in a team, right? So leadership is the same, is it just happens to flow in different ways. So I put here that your career field will influence how you lead, but great leaders don't stay in a box, right? You may find yourself in a medical field and then your leadership skill is different. You would find yourself in a non-profit organization, an NGO, and it's quite different from the medical field that you were from, right? So your career field will influence how you lead, But great leaders don't stay in a box. So you do not say that this is how I know it, so this is how I'm going to lead the team, right? I always advise that you see the kind of people that you are working with, the kind of goals that you guys are working towards. Then you can sit down, structure your leadership style so that it is able to push the team towards whatever goal that we are in. I think Vanessa, you can prompt me if my time is up.
I would say that if you're able to, you can just wind up.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yes, yes. So, in conclusion, leadership is not something you arrive at, it's something you grow into. um to me, I think it's a cliche, or I don't believe in that analogy that leaders are born. I don't think anyone here, when he or she was born, came out with maybe an inscription that this is a leader or I am a leader, right? I believe that leadership is something that you learn, it's a skill that you develop, right? It's a skill you develop. It's not everyone that is able to manage teams, that is able to lead teams to a particular goal. So don't think that, okay, we say leaders are born. I don't think I was born a leader, so I can't lead. If you put your mind to it, you can actually lead, right? With these kind of skills that I've put out there. If you are dedicated, if you want to develop yourself, if you want to impact people, it's a step to being a leader. Your career is not just about getting a job, it's about becoming someone who can create value, influence others, and drive impact. So if you're a leader in your workspace, in your work environment, it's not only the job that you should be thinking about. You should also be thinking about how you can influence your colleagues, right? How you can influence your workers, your staff, how you can drive impact. Your career field will influence how you lead, but great leaders don't. Yeah, I think I mentioned that in the previous slide as well. So it's not just about getting a job, going to the office, coming back and getting your salary at the end of the month. What value are you creating for yourself, for the organization? How are you influencing your peers around you or your team members around you? How are you driving impact? How are you roping everyone in to get the bigger picture of the goal that we've set for ourselves, right? Start where you are, grow intentionally, and lead consistently. If you are not a leader yet, or you are hoping and wishing to take a leadership role one day, start from where you are, right? Start from where you are. I work with developers a lot. So if you're a junior developer, start from where you are. Start from where you are. You become a senior developer. In fact, then you become a product manager, a scrum master. You can lead a team of developers into building amazing stuff, right? So start where you are. You just need to make the bold step to grow, right? Seek for help from mentors, right? Connect with people, be dedicated as well. Then you can lead with consistency, right? So at this point, I think Vanessa just wants me to wrap up. I think I'm done. I'm done at this point. Maybe I'll take some questions from our people over here. You can connect with me here as well. Thank you very much. Any questions? Any questions?
Thank you very much, Justina, for that very insightful presentation and for sharing just your very informative insights onto growth and leadership, and even in terms of career growth. I think one of the main things I've taken away is that if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others. But I'm very curious to see if there are any questions and if there are any insights that others would like to share. I see there's a hand from Florent. Florent, you
Sure.
have the floor.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you so much for giving me the floor. My name is Florence, and I'm from Madagascar. And thank you so much, Justina, for the wonderful presentation. It was really nice. And my question is, how can we develop? Like, do you have any practical ways to develop our like? How can I say that? Like to develop our emotional intelligence. Yes, because you highlighted the value of emotional intelligence when we lead. So I would like to just know if there is any kind of practical ways to develop emotional intelligence. Thank you.
Okay. Vanessa, do I go on or we take some questions before?
Um, I think we can go on. If you
Okay.
have any questions, please just type them or raise your hand so that we can take them all at once. But I think we can go on for now. Please
All
proceed.
right. Good question, right? It's very important. Emotional intelligence is something that we are constantly trying to learn and develop. It's very practical, right? When someone says emotional intelligence, what is emotional intelligence? You need to at least guide them to practical ways. So I'll first of all say that aside reading and then listening to people talk about it, should you find yourself in a team, right? Sit down and pen down some of your characters, right? When I say some of your characters, are you someone that is patient? Are you someone that tries to give an opinion at that moment? Are you someone that tries to sit down to reflect on issues before you make a decision, right? Are you someone that gets easily agitated? Are you someone that is just there nonchalant like that, right? So you try to pen down these things and then sit down to note what your team members are like, right? There are some team members that can just talk to a leader anyhow without trying to assess the words that comes out from their mouth. As a leader, how do you take that? Are you a person that naturally will just respond, or you're someone that will just sit back and then, okay, I think I need to call this person, have a sit down meeting with him and tell him that we do not act this way in an office space? Practically, that is what we do. Let me give you a practical example. I used to work with a team of well, I still currently work in a team where we have, I'm the only lady actually who is the lead over there. So we have, but I'm not talking about my current team. Let me just give an example of my past team. We have a particular team member that makes jokes out of everything. When he's been given a deliverable, he will laugh about it, he will joke about it. Oh, I know I'm supposed to deliver by end of week. Don't worry, I'll get it sorted. And on Thursday morning, you are asking him the progress of his deliverable. Oh, don't worry, madam, I'll just get it sorted. By Friday, you get it. Friday, you get to the office, he's not even started. And he doesn't take urgency with the work. He's just bubbly laughing about it. And professionally is not ideal, right? So as a leader, what do you do? Are you someone that will just say to his face, young man, I need you to sit down and get this work done for me? Or you are someone who will send him an email that, please do get this done. Or you are someone that will just not mind, but you have a penalty for him at the end of the day if he doesn't do it, right? So what I do is that, depending on the kind of personality my team member has. For this particular person, he's always laughing, he's always joking about things. So I also meet him with that. If you don't get this thing done, we are not leaving here today. Then I also laugh about that, right? So I'm passing on a message to him. Then I send him a reminder. You need to get this done. Then he sees the urgency of it. That is where emotional intelligence comes to play, right? Some people may act in a way that, see, I'm being serious here. Why are you laughing about this deliverable? Everyone and his or her leadership style, right? Some people would want to meet you with the kind of personality that you have. Some people too are leaders that wouldn't want you to make fun of them or think that it is okay to laugh with them. So these are practical ways, right? It's either you have sit down conversations with them. When you realize you are in a heated argument, sometimes it's advisable not to necessarily talk back. Else you notice that you sit back in your office and realize, no, I didn't say this right. My team members saw the worst of me, right? And I'm not sure that every leader would want their workers or team members to see, okay, wow, after all, he wasn't so nice, right? We have some nice leaders that will get the work done without having to shout at you. So I would say that first of all, sit down and pen down what your characters are like. Are you someone that is easily offended? How can you go about it? Okay, I see Johnson in the team. Johnson is someone who wouldn't react to things but will get the work done. Abigail is someone who jokes about the work and will not get the work done. So let me find a way to make her get the work done, right? Linda is someone who is very disrespectful or talks anyhow without assessing that she is speaking with authority. How do I deal with her? Maybe I would have to have a conversation with her. I would have to let her know that these are some of the things she's supposed to do. These are some of the things that are ideal for her to do, right? So I also advise people to take personality tests as well. Get to know yourself and how you can manage these things. When you know the kind of personality that you possess, you are able to speak and manage your team members as well. Vanessa, we can't hear you.
I was speaking with my mic off. Okay. But I was just saying, thank you very much for sharing your insights, Justina. I think I would just like to echo what you just said, that the best way for you to approach your leadership journey is start by learning yourself, learn how you yourself are able to translate certain situations. And then from there, you should be able to start understanding how you can navigate leading others. But otherwise, thank you very much. I think one thing that keeps coming up is that people would like to see if they can get your email, if we can share your email. So I just wanted to check in if you're comfortable with that, or if you'd like us to just share your LinkedIn so that you can connect with people on LinkedIn. You are on mute. You're muted.
Vanessa.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
sorry. So
It's
I'm
okay.
saying that let me just type this email in the chat box so that
Okay, perfect.
everyone can have access. But then again, I would be glad if you all connect with me on LinkedIn.
Okay, so that's the message, everyone. Let's try to connect on LinkedIn, but she has shared her email address. I will open the floor up if there are any other questions, comments, or any other insights. Okay, there's a question from Mullen Maina. How do we cultivate a growth mindset that stays with one for a long time, if not a lifetime?
Wow, very interesting question.
Indeed.
Growth mindsets. I hear that word a lot. It's all over now. I'm glad people hear of growth mindsets. Now, fixed mindset is moving away. How do you cultivate a growth mindset that stays with one for a long time? I think I'll just share what I do. What I always tell myself is, yes, it's quite challenging, but I can do it. I saw someone doing it, so why can't I also do it? These are some of the things I say to myself, right? It's challenging, it's tough, but I just saw someone who just did it. But this person is also human. Why can't I? Right? What do I have to lose if I do it and it fails? Right? I have nothing to lose. At least I made the effort. Right. So a growth mindset is where you think that um, it is possible, right? There's nothing. I had a friend, I was talking with a friend, and he made mention of something. It's still my email signature. I don't know if Vanessa, you've taken notice of that. There's nothing astronomically impossible. He mentioned that to me, and I was like, wow, wow. Wow. So there's nothing astronomically impossible. The growth mindset is something that you would want to try. Let me just try it. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, at least I tried. Right. So that's what keeps me going. So I just want to tell you what I do, right? Maybe it can live with you for a long time. If it's school you are going to, what is it? Let me try it. People have done it. Let me try it. If I failed, at least I failed trying, right? Rather than me staying. Is it an exam I want to take? People say it's very challenging, but the people saying it's challenging, they took the test and they passed, right? So how does that make me different? Right? I want to open businesses. I want to have a multinational company. People have now the word multinational is misused everywhere. You see a company and it doesn't look multinational, but the owner says it is a multinational company. You can't beat him or her to it, right? So what I'll tell you is that try, right? There's nothing astronomically impossible. That is my email signature. If you send me an email and I respond, you'll see that over there. So that's my mantra. So for a growth mindset, there's nothing astronomically impossible. Fail if you try at it. If you fail, you made the effort, right? Yes, so that's what I have to say. Any more questions? I don't know if Vanessa is on the line.
Okay, I don't know if there are any questions. Are there any questions? This is a moment to speak. Okay, it seems there are no other questions, Justina. And with that said, on behalf of the Leading Change Africa team, there's there's a question request just should come with a topic of emotional intelligence. Okay, so we have a request for our next upcoming session. We have a request for our coming session. We have taken note of that and we'll make sure that we are able to hold a session on that. Otherwise, thank you so much, Justina, for this wonderful session, for sharing your insights. Thank you for taking us through what growth-oriented leadership looks like and how we too can practice it based off of your experiences.
Right. Thank you.
I will end the session right. I you have anything to share with it. Hi, Justina. I was asking if you have any final
Oh,
the team.
unfortunately,
I
I
mean, any
can't
final
hear
remarks
you.
to share with the team?
Okay. I get that now. You are saying any final remarks? If I
Yes,
heard you
please.
clearly.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. I think I think I've already given my final remarks, but I'll just repeat that for those who didn't get it. Being a leader, you don't need to be born a leader, right? There's nothing like that. To me, I think there's nothing like that. You can be a leader if you set your mind to it, right? Start by developing yourself. Lead yourself, self leadership first. If you're able to lead yourself, then you can lead others. Two, there is nothing astronomically impossible. I think that's what I'll end with. If there's something you set your mind to it, you can do it. You have the capacity, the tendency to do it. Just make the effort. At least, I always say, at least try. Try doing it and fail at it so we know you made the effort. The effort is most at times recognized as well, right? In as much as result is recognized, the effort you put into something you do is also recognized. So try it, right? Who knows, you will be successful with that. So try it. I think that's what I have for us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And those are very powerful remarks to end the session off. I once again thank you very much, Justina, for your insights, for making time to share your insights. This has been an honor on our end, but also very insightful. So I hope that each and every one of us walking out of this session has left with something valuable that they can be able to implement in their lives. And to Adabeth, Joseph, we have taken note of your request to have a topic on emotional intelligence. But otherwise, thank you to each and every one of you for joining in and being an active audience. On in On behalf of Leading Change Africa, I thank you all for being a part of this wonderful session. And please take note that we do hold inspiring journey sessions once every 2 months. We rotate between um, a French session and an English session. So thank you. If you are interested in joining in the next one, we will make sure that we share with you the details for the next upcoming session. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I hope you'll continue practicing what Justina has been able to share today. Thank you, everyone.